your website around 2013 or so. So I've been a member of this community for about almost 10 years. I've been trading since about 2006, 2008, but didn't really get into like the butterfly kind of structures till I found your training.
Mm-hmm.
And so since about 2013 or so, I've been trading. I started with the M3 and then pretty much evolved to brokering butterfly, that kind of a structure. Kept working on it. I bought some of your programs. I bought the M3, the Rock, the Bearish Butterfly, a bunch of them, the calendar course. And so over the last 4 or 5 years is kind of where I'm more fine-tuned, and I've really grown a lot as a trader. So that's kind of my background. I predominantly trade, similar to what Chris just said. I mainly just trade on the rut, and I trade like an M3-4U kind of structure. I trade calendars, and then I do this year, the last year and a half, I've been trading straddles on SPY.
Okay.
And they've been working well, and I use them kind of along with my rut trade, like based on where I am in my Russell structures. I'll kind of place my SPY straddles around that. So that's kind of a little bit of background.
Okay. And what would you consider your biggest win this year?
As far as strategies go, well, the calendars, I'm probably returning right around 100% on my allocated capital.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a big part of my portfolio either, because those trades have just a higher standard deviation of P&L. So they worked really well through about March, early April. And I primarily trade, like I sell a 9-day and I'll buy a 12-day. And then I'm either adding some more calendars or I'm just diagonalizing the structure. So 3 or 4, since from May till about, I would say August or so, was a little trickier part. And then the last, again, 3 months have been pretty strong. So I would say that's been my biggest gain in terms of as a percentage return.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much in terms of dollars, though. The other strategies like the SPY straddle, I'm right at around 40% for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the M3-4U structure, and I traded a little differently. The M3-4U,
now with your straddles, are you doing long straddles or short straddles?
No, I'm short straddles.
Short straddles, okay.
Right, and I will favor being short deltas on those, just because I'm short volatility. So
sure.
And the M3-4U, same thing. I'm almost always short deltas on it. Now a move like today, for example, I'm probably a little long deltas on my positions today just because of what today is doing.
Right.
But yeah, the SPY straddles and the M3-4U trades probably close to around 30 to 40% return this year. And those are bigger parts of my portfolio. The calendars was 100%, but not a lot allocated to it. So
yeah, sounds like a pretty good year.
It has.
For 22, nice.
It has. The last 3 years have been good in terms of returns, but really good in terms of learning, because we've had so much volatility, and it's been different than the previous 10 years. So it'll be interesting when we go back to a little lower volatility environment, how I adapt to that.
Right. I think the important part is you've been at this long enough and you've approached it the right way where you knew to adapt over the last couple of years, and it seems like you've done pretty well doing that. Yeah.
And I forgot to say in my background, I don't do it full time. I'm part time. So me and my wife, we run a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So that's tricky because, that takes up a lot of physical time. So I kind of have to trade structures around that. So I prefer staying short deltas overall. Just because when we have days like today, I'm not, having to
Not freaking out.
not freaking out, basically. Yeah, exactly. I kind of know it, and I'm down in P&L today, and that's one of the lessons is kind of knowing where your losses are coming from. Your short deltas, but today volatility is spiking, so understanding where that loss is coming from also helps you not to freak out with that. So
Right. Yeah, I think a good understanding of your positioning and everything else that's going on is definitely usually pretty helpful for sure. Yeah. So what are you thinking about for next year?